Hey guys, it's Sunny here. Like I said last time, I'll tell you that every time. I don't know why. Again, deep-seated urge, who knows? Let me get this up on my computer so that if you have any questions, I'll be able to see them. Come on. So, oh, yay. Hey, it told me I'm live. Excellent. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I'm going to tell you now because I don't think I was super clear last time. Every Monday, I write a new blog. And so this blog comes out on my website every Monday. It usually posts between 9 and 10 a.m. And so you can go out there, you can check out the new blog, and you can, obviously I can't do more than one thing at a time. I'm still trying to get this up so that I can see if there's any questions. Okay, so you can go out and check out the new blog. And then what will happen is Tuesday, for our Tuesday talks, I'll be talking about that specific blog and then answering any other questions that you guys might have. So if there's ever a topic that you want me to hit on, something that you're interested in, you can always shoot me a Facebook message, shoot me an email, and let me know, hey, I'm interested in learning a little bit more about this. Would you mind chatting about it? And I will be more than happy to do so. So before we kind of get into the keto blog, that's what we're talking about tonight, is the keto diet. It's so funny, like all day today I've just been ridiculously exhausted, and I actually had a client reach out to me and say the same thing, and talking to my husband Matthew, he's also saying the same thing. And the only thing that we can think about is the time change. Like I must have not recovered yet from the time change, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take, because this does not make me happy. I don't like being tired. I don't like feeling drained like this. And I was trying to work on a paper earlier today. I was having serious concentration issues. I could type 2 sentences, and then I had to get up and go move something, and then I could come back and research it, and then I had to go shift and do something else. It's just not, it's not me, and I don't like that. So if anybody else out there is suffering from severe fatigue from the time change, feel free to give us a shout out, because we're all suffering the same thing. Okay, so let's get in. This is not coffee, by the way, this is tea. Let's get into the blog. So I actually have it up this time. Okay, so we are going to be talking all about the ketogenic diet tonight. I have an opinion on it, which I will give you at the end. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dissect the diet. We're going to talk about what it is not, what it can be used for therapeutically, and then maybe some cautions to consider. And then I'll give you my humble opinion at the end. Okay. So first and foremost, what it is a high-fat, moderate protein, very low carbohydrate diet. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. It's a high fat, moderate protein, very low carbohydrate diet. So when we say very low carb, you're talking 20 grams or less of carbohydrates a day. And then when you're talking protein, you're talking between 10 and 15% of your daily caloric intake coming from protein. So for most people, the average woman, that's going to be anywhere between 46 and 56 grams of protein a day, and for the average male, that's going to be between 56 and 70-ish grams of protein a day. Everything else should be comprised of healthy fats, okay? So this is really important, this is not a high protein, low carb diet. So this is not, think 1990 era Atkins diet. It's not a passport to go out to a restaurant, order a burger with cheese and some toppings and just take off the bun. It's not a passport to eat a steak for breakfast, a steak for lunch, and a steak for dinner. It is not that. And I see a lot of people that are out there doing it incorrectly. So if you're going to do the keto diet, please, please, please do it correctly, which is high fat, and that fat should be good, healthy fat. So you're talking fish, nuts, seeds, avocados, flax, good quality fats. Moderate protein, it should come from clean sources, okay? So you're talking like lean meats, vegan protein sources for the keto diet would be things like tofu, tempeh, soy crumbles, those sorts of things. And then the carbohydrates, so the very, very, very limited carbohydrates that you get, you should strive very much so to get those, almost fell over there, so I'm leaning on one foot. Balance is not my thing. So you should get those the very few carbs that you get, you need to be getting those from vegetables. So from the very limited amount of vegetables that you can consume on the keto diet, your carbs needs to come from those vegetables, not from, okay, I can have 20 carbs a day, a Hershey's Kiss has 6 grams of carbs, so that means I can have like 3 Hershey Kisses a day, so 1 after each meal. No, 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 no. So high fat, moderate protein, low carb. So next time somebody says keto diet, I want you to do this. Fat, moderate protein, low carb. So think of it as like the keto dance. You're welcome. Okay, so it is not 1990 era's Atkins. By the way, did you actually know that the Atkins was, everybody did it wrong. So if you actually read the book or went to his website and saw what the Atkins diet was meant to be, it was meant to be a progressive induction of carbohydrates over time, and it was supposed to be a slow progression of increased vegetables and fruit in the diet, not carbohydrates from like, you know, breads and cookies and cakes and those sort of things, which is what we all did. I did it too, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so the ketogenic diet works like this. The primary source of fuel for our body is glucose. All carbohydrates at the end of the day, through one process or another, break down to glucose. These carbohydrates can come from whether you're eating refined carbs like cookies, cakes, candies, donuts, those sorts of things, or where it should come from is like whole grains, plants, vegetables, fruits, those sorts of things. So all carbohydrates break down to glucose, which is a single molecule, and it is the primary fuel source for the body. It is the only fuel source for the brain. So what happens when you switch over to a ketogenic diet is your body has to go through this process of no longer utilizing glucose for energy. And so it turns to the liver. The liver says, hey, we're kind of out of glucose. What are we going to do? We ain't got nothing for you. Oh, we can take fat and we can turn it into a series of acids in the body called ketone bodies, and your body can then burn that off as fuel. And so that's kind of what somebody on the ketogenic diet is looking for. They're looking for to be in a process called ketosis, which is where your body is burning these ketone bodies for fuel in the body. The limited carbohydrates that you get on the keto diet are meant to fuel the brain, because that's what our brain utilizes, is glucose. When your body is switching over to burning these ketone bodies, what happens is you go through something that they have affectionately called the keto flu. And the keto flu is basically a period of anywhere from 3 days to 7 days where you feel like you just got hit by a freaking truck. You can't think, you can't focus, you're exhausted, you feel like you're gonna die or you're gonna rip somebody else's head off. It's not a fun period, but that's your body switching over from burning glucose for fuel to the ketones for fuel. So anybody that switches to a very low carbohydrate diet will go through that process. And I say very low carb because the definition of a low carb diet is anything under 100 grams. So if you follow a paleo diet, you're typically following a low carb diet. So a keto diet, yes, it is low carb, but it actually falls into like the very low carbohydrate arena because you're trying to get into this ketosis phase. No, there is no shot for the keto flu, not like the regular flu shot. That was, somebody asked. Oh, we have been on an asparagus kick. I love some asparagus. Sorry, Tim. Sorry to shoot down your Hershey Kiss diet. I would like to be on that diet myself. Keto is neato. Aw, and nice moves. Thanks, babe. Yeah, I try to get the nice moves out for you guys, except when I fall. I'm like the most ungraceful person, which is funny because like if there's nothing on the floor, I will trip over it. Anyway, back to the keto diet. So in a nutshell, that's what it is, right? So high fat, moderate protein, low carb. Body is switching from glucose to ketones for fuel. That's what happens with the ketone or with the keto flu, which there is no shot for. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. The keto diet has been around for close to 100 years. And what it was primarily used for, right? So people have been fasting for centuries. There's always periods of fast, whether it's daytime fast, only eating at nighttime, whether it's periods of fasting for a couple of days, 3 days, 7 days, whether it's fasting for specific hours of every day. There's a variety of fasts out there, and fasting has been used for centuries. They use it to cleanse the body. They use it for religious purposes. They use it for, some people swear by it. There's a new thing called intermittent fasting. It's not really new, but it's kind of like a keto diet where it's kind of picking up speed. And it's just a form of fasting. So what happened was this doctor found that children that utilized a form of fasting, specifically children that had epilepsy. So children that had epilepsy that utilized a form of fasting were actually able to get control of their seizures and not really have them anymore. Now, mind you, this is pre-epileptic medication. And so what he found was, after kind of playing around, is that these kids that went on the keto diet, so you're talking 10 to 15 grams of carbs per day, 10 to 15% of their diet from protein, everything else from healthy fats, they were able to control their seizures that way without medication. Again, this was pre-medication. So then what happened, so all these children that had epilepsy, and I'm certain that adults probably tried it, but there was no studies or really no talk of it. So all these children that had epilepsy, their primary prescription when they would go to the doctor is, okay, we're going to put you on this very specialized diet. They would start it in the hospital, get their parents on board, send them on their way, control their seizures. And so what happened was medication, right? Modern day medicine happened. And then they came out with these really good anti-seizure medications. They started giving that. That became like the primary source of treating, seizures and things in children and adults. And so the diet kind of went to the wayside. So then in the 90s, it kind of resurfaced a little bit. People were like, well, wait, why did we push this very good thing aside that was great for controlling children with seizures? And now we have a whole class of children that are not susceptible to medications. All of these great modern medications that we have are just not helping them. So then the children that were, the medication could not help them control their seizures, what they would do is they went back to the old way and they put them on the keto diet. And so it kind of resurfaced in that arena. And it had, since the 90s, it tends to be a common discussion with parents and physicians when it comes to children with epilepsy. Some adults now, adults with epilepsy, follow the keto diet in order to control their epilepsy. There is a person walking the dog outside. I'm not kidding. The lack of concentration is like on steroids today. I saw this person walk by. I'm like, oh, doggies. Even though I have a brood of my own, I see another one. It's like squirrel. I apologize, guys. Okay, so epilepsy is the primary therapeutic diet or use of the keto diet. Recently, there has been some information to state that people with cancer who have followed the keto diet have been able to either use it as an adjuvant to chemotherapy or other traditional medical interventions for cancer. Some people say that it has helped shrink tumors. The thing is there's no clinical evidence of that. It's all anecdotal. It's all, yes, I use this diet in conjunction with my radiation or in conjunction with my chemotherapy and my tumor shrunk. It would be interesting to see clinical trials to see if this diet actually really does help that. But right now there is no clinical evidence that it does actually shrink cancer tumors. There is actually some studies that show that following a keto diet can increase tumor growth. So it's kind of a tit for tat when it comes to that. Things that people use keto diet for: treating obese patients, getting them to lose massive amounts of weight, putting type 2 diabetes in remission. A lot of people like to use it for weight loss. That's the primary thing that I see when I scroll through my Facebook feed every day, is the keto diet and weight loss. I see health coaches, trainers, nutritionists galore, that's all they specialize in, the keto diet and weight loss for their clients. People do it and they say that they feel absolutely amazing. And that's great if that worked for them. But here's some cautions I think that people need to that you need to think about. I am always so I follow the idea that there is no one diet for everybody. We're all different. We all think of food differently. Our bodies react to different things differently. We like different things. We like some foods, we don't like other foods. Some people cannot live without carbohydrates, and some people are like, I don't need my carbs. So I subscribe to the theory that we are all different. So just because keto worked for Jane doesn't mean it's gonna work for Bob. But I also subscribe to the theory that you should absolutely know everything before you jump feet first into anything. And so that's kind of what I'm aiming for with the keto diet here. And I'll share my opinion at the end, but I really want you guys to kind of know everything. So far, it's not burgers with no bun. It's not steak for every meal. It's lots of fat, moderate protein. So you're talking, for a female, 46 to 56 grams a day. For a man, you're talking 56 to 70 grams per day. And a little bit of carbs, 20 grams or less. It's used to treat seizures. Some people use it in obese patients. They use it to reduce weight very quickly. Some people use it because they say it makes them feel better. So we have some studies that do show that people that follow a ketogenic diet long term actually come out on the end with some thyroid issues. So they went in, thyroid tip-top shape, come out, thyroid kind of tanked, and then they had to take thyroid medications to get things working appropriately again. So one study, they followed 120 kids that had drug-resistant epilepsy. So these are modern-day kids that can't take medications for epilepsy, so they follow the keto diet. At the end of their treatment period, 20% of those kids showed that they developed hypothyroidism, which is a slow thyroid. So they had to take synthetic thyroid medications, and kind of once you're there, it's really hard to recover from a thyroid condition, unless it's an autoimmune thyroid condition. If you're talking like standard run-of-the-mill hypothyroid, that's kind of a difficult one to recover from. There was another study that showed that various levels of carbohydrate intake in men over a period of time. So they did high, moderate, and very low carbohydrate diet. And once they got to the low carbohydrate, the very low carbohydrate, their thyroid started to malfunction. So that's something that you need to kind of take into consideration if you're thinking about doing the keto diet, if you want to start the keto diet. Oh, hey buddy, come to visit mommy. Say hi to everybody. Hello. Hello. I never thought I'd be that person that had a dog voice, but I do. I have a dog voice. So anyway, it can cause kind of some disarray with the thyroid. So that's something else to think about. If your thyroid is functioning really good and you're really considering the keto diet, you might want to take pause and determine whether that's, the appropriate diet for you. I just did a quick Google search because I was curious to see, outside of studies, is it a common thing, is it a common question? And so I just typed in keto and thyroid, and you'll be surprised the amount of message boards that pop up with both women and men asking, oh, my thyroid seems to be off since I started the keto diet. Not saying that happens to everybody, but it is something that you should probably consider before you want to jump in 2 feet with the keto diet. Okay, so this is my opinion, right? This is my opinion based on my clinical experience. This is my opinion based on having tried it because I wanted to see what other people go through. Because honestly, I get asked a lot about the keto diet. I get asked on my Facebook page. I get messages pretty often about the keto diet. And at least once a week, I have somebody call my clinical practice phone asking my opinion on the keto diet. So it's a super popular diet right now. Let me just put him down. And so I get a lot of questions about it. So this is my opinion. There are 100 other avenues that you can go to lose weight that is not in such an extreme manner. If that is your sole purpose for doing the keto diet, I would encourage you to find a different avenue that fits better with your lifestyle and can be maintained long term. Like I said before, there are people that do the keto diet, they're perfectly fine with low carb, and they do it like a rock star. They have no problems. And then there's other people that just do it and it's just such an extreme diet. You're essentially cutting out almost an entire macronutrient. So we have 3 macronutrients, so protein, fats, and carbs. You're almost cutting out all of your carbohydrates to stick to the keto diet. You're missing out on a shit ton of nutrients, and that's a clinical reference there, shit ton. You get a lot of your nutrients from fruits and vegetables. So when you cut that out, you're really cutting out a location where you get a lot of your nutrients. The nutrients that you need to keep your body functioning, the nutrients that you need to feed your energy production cycle, the nutrients that you need to keep yourself healthy and your eyes functioning, your brain working, and your liver, kicking out hormones and things. You're just cutting out, it's just so extreme in my opinion. You like that? Extreme in my opinion. And so if there is another avenue for you to try, if you were specifically trying it for weight loss, I would encourage you to try something that's not so restrictive. I did it, so I tried it because honestly I wanted to see what people go through. And it was horrendous. I don't really think about food. If I eat poorly, if I go through a period of time where I eat really bad, I will think about food because I'm under the control of sugar. I'll think about donuts and cookies and cakes and cupcakes and candies and when can I get, my next sugar fix. But if I'm on kind of like a run where I'm eating really well, I really don't think about food, and I have to push myself to eat because I get so busy and I'll forget to eat, or maybe healthy food isn't always so enticing, but I have to push myself to eat. When I tried the keto diet, it was like I couldn't focus on anything else but food. I thought about, when am I going to eat again? When's my next meal? What can I have? I can't have grapes. Oh, I really want grapes. I can't have the banana. I can't have cauliflower. I can't have hummus. Like, I'm thinking about all the foods that are so healthy that I can't eat. And it was horrendous. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. I can't live in that restrictiveness. Again, if people can do it, more power to you. But I couldn't do it. So this is my opinion. If you're dead set on trying the keto diet, focus on net carbs versus whole carbs. Net carbs are the carbohydrates minus the fiber. That's your net carbs. So for instance, flax. 2 tablespoons of flax has about 4 grams of carbs, also has about 4 grams of fiber, so that's a net carb of 0. So if you're going to do the keto, focus on net carbs. And I would actually up it to maybe 20 to 30 grams of net carbs. That way you're getting in the fiber that your body needs and you're leaving some room to get in some more nutrients through vegetables in there. I would also limit the time frame, 30 to 60 days tops. Come off of it at 60 days and transition into a healthy lifestyle that you can maintain long term, where you're not sitting there counting net carbs or whole carbs or figuring out off the menu, okay, how many carbs is this? How many carbs is that? Can I eat this? I had 20 earlier. Can I have this? That's no way to live. In my mind, that's not a healthy mindset when it comes to food. So that's my opinion. Not a fan, but if you're going to try it, 30 to 60 days, tops, focus on net carbs of 20 to 30. I would even say 30 grams of net carbs daily. Okay. So what questions do you have? Let me scroll back through here. This light is super bright. I know I answered some of these. Is there a shop for keto food? Yes, Jackie, they're trying to make me laugh. I laugh too much as it is. So, here's a really good question. Okay, so where do you get your fiber? And I'm assuming you mean on the keto diet. So if you're actually following the very low carb, 10 to 20 grams of carbohydrates on the keto diet, you're really not getting much fiber. That's another point of contention. So if you up it to 20 to 30 grams of net carb, you're getting a little bit more fiber, because if you're doing the net carb, you're eating more carbohydrates that should be coming from whole grains. It should be coming from fibrous vegetables, so that you can get a little more in there. Is there information on how it affects women versus men? That's a really good question, and I don't know, because I didn't specifically look to see if it affected men or women differently. And then it says, I just wonder how it would affect a woman trying to become pregnant or a baby long term. That is a really good point. So again, it's a restrictive diet. And so if you're trying to use it for long-term health, if you're looking to, harbor a child and grow a child in your body, you need tons of glucose and you need carbohydrates. You need nutrients to feed that baby. And so if you're doing something like a keto, you're really cutting out a lot of nutrients that your body's going to need at that point. Yes, it's my puppy. That's Captain Beauregard Wiggle Pants. He is my baby. I need the avenue where I can eat all the carbs. I wish I could eat all the carbs and not gain any of the weight. And when I say eat all the carbs, I want donuts and stuff. Things that you can't have. Aw, little kid said hi. Hello. Oh, good point. So a lot of people think that they're doing a keto, but they're probably not doing it. They're doing just a version of the Atkins, which is what I see in my personal Facebook feed. I see a lot of people that are super into keto, but what I'm seeing is a lot of cheese. I'm seeing a lot of bacon. There's a dog hair floating right here. Seeing a lot of cheese, a lot of bacon, a lot of red meat, a lot of chicken. I'm not seeing a lot of fish. I'm not seeing a lot of flax, avocado, nuts and seeds, green leafy vegetables. Those are the things I'm not seeing, and those are part of an actual keto diet. What do you put flaxseed in? Ooh, so let's talk about flaxseed. I like it. I'll show you my flaxseed. I have it right here. So this is my flaxseed. This is what I'm working with right now. I have ground flaxseed. So I put my ground flaxseed in my smoothie. So this is just flax seeds all ground up. You can put it in, you can put ground flaxseed in smoothies. You can put ground flaxseed in oatmeal, chia pudding. You can top it on a salad. Most people like whole flaxseed. I have one client that eats 4 tablespoons of flax daily, and she likes to put it over the top of her salad because she likes the crunch that comes with it. You can put it on top of whole flaxseed. You can put it on top of oatmeal. You can have a bowl of berries and top it with some flaxseed, and then maybe put a little tinge of almond milk or something in there and almost eat it like a cereal. Whole flaxseed is pretty crunchy. If you have a lot of nooks and crannies in your teeth, it's going to get stuck in there. And I do, but I use the ground because I use it in my smoothies that I have every day. I call it my nutrient smoothie because it's not super tasty. Okay, any other questions on the keto diet? If I didn't, I answered all the ones that are here. If you watch this later, or if you have any questions later, you can always post them below. I will also link the blog so you can read the blog. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always answer them if you don't, or put them on the post. If you don't want to put them out there for everybody to see, you're more than welcome to shoot me a Facebook message or an email, and I will be more than happy to help you. I'm blaming all that on daylight savings time, although next week I'll probably just be as fumbly. So, just as a reminder, every Monday a new blog comes out. Every Tuesday we do Tuesday talks on that blog. So if you have a topic that you want to hear about, learn about, shoot me an email, put it on my page, and I'll be more than happy to put it in the queue to get to it. Keto diet is high fat, moderate protein, low carb. It is not high protein, low carb. It's high fat, moderate protein, low carb. if you're gonna do it 30 to 60 days tops, use it to transition into a better lifestyle. Up your carbs to 20 to 30 grams of net carbs so that you can get more fiber and nutrients. A net carb is the carbohydrates minus the fiber. The ending result is net carb. So again, flax is an example. It's got about 4 grams of carbs. It's got 4 grams of fiber, so it's a net carb of 0. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and say toodles for this evening. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, same place, same time, same bat channel. Have a good night, guys. Bye.